Welcome back to our next chapter. I'm Dominic Piguero.
And I'm Ann Piguero.
And this is our eighth or ninth episode. We're losing count. We're having so much fun and enjoyment with this that we just don't know how to contain ourselves.
Yes, I am actually, what is this? Happy.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. So before we get kicked into our episode, how was your week?
I had a good week.
A couple weeks, actually.
Yeah, actually, I've gearing up for the holidays. We finally got the house all decorated. Thankfully, we finished our table that we've been working on for the last, it seems like a year. So that just sort of kind of set the tone for what our kind of dining room area will be for the holidays. So
that's the tone of our household. We have a single project. So context to the table. We had a dining room table that we've had for a very long time, and Anne likes to DIY things. So she roped my dad in, the papa, the woodworker, to help us refinish a table for the second time. And
third. This is probably the third
time.
Yeah.
And then we had another table that we refinished like 5 times. So it takes a really, really long time, but we're really, really happy with the finished product. Thanks, Papa John. Pretty cool. And there's a lot of satisfaction because it's a job that Ann did. I didn't really do much. I moved it, I carried it, but I didn't do the work on it.
So let's just give a little bit of background. Yes, I love to preserve items within the house that I feel like I could potentially pass on to, our family. And or just renovate, because I love renovating things. So I can take like an old bench and then sand it to death and then repaint it another color just to give your house sort of like a new facelift in a way. But the one thing I thought was going to be really great is I could do it with your dad, and it was like a hobby of his, the Italian woodworker, as we title him, because he makes amazing cheese boards and all these great things. So I thought it would just be a good project to do with him, and a tradition, which is probably what going to be the brunt of our topic for today, is preserving traditions. But the cool part is we did a table earlier, and one thing that I asked him to do is flip the table over and sign it and date it, so that again, if we pass that on to generations, they'll always have that as a treasure. So hopefully the dining room table will be the same. So it's gone from cherry wood to tones of gray, and now it's like this pretty sort of Pottery Barn whitewash table that I'm really, really excited about. But it completely was a labor of love and something that I actually enjoyed doing with your father. It was awesome.
I did enjoy it all.
I love it.
And I keep looking over because the table's actually sitting right here. So
it looks really
and cool. It's everything starts as a great idea. The addition to this story is my mother and father live solid 2 hours away. So it's not like you can run down the street and work on it and come back. It's an all-day affair minimum to go up there and do that. And then you can only do so much in a day, and it's dusty and dirty. And so, it's I guess it's a labor of love to some of us. To some of us, it's a labor of please get it done so we don't have to look at it anymore. But that was a big project. She's very accomplished getting it in. We carried it in. It's moved a lot. It was worked on in the backyard and then in the garage, and now it's in the kitchen.
No, it's in the dining room.
Or dining room, excuse me, in dining room. In time for the holidays to start. So that was good. What else? A little build up before we get to the meat and potatoes.
No, I had I'll share that because that's part of our holiday sort of like episode today. I had my girls' annual get together.
Lots of get together this week. We did a lot of dinners. We did a lot of events.
Livermore Valley
Wine Growers Association.
Some amazing people.
Dublin Partners in Education dinner, which was amazing. Did it with a guys' night business. Very productive. While Ann was out with the girls. So that's kind of a build up to our week. We're going to start off all of our episodes with a little context about what we did. Yeah, a little table talk. And then we're going to kick into what our big topic is this week. It's going to probably be every 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. So big topic for this week being that it's December. What is December famous for?
The holidays.
The holidays, especially
Christmas.
So,
Hanukkah, so many celebrations during this time.
so we talked about what we wanted our topic to be, and Anne, being the boss of our family, decided. I'm just kidding. We decided together, which is another fun event when we come up with topics.
Literally, like 5 minutes before, we had ideas that we thought about like 2 weeks ago, and then literally 5 minutes before, we were like, you know.
It's funny. I was at an appointment
An
today.
moment.
I was at a work appointment today, and I got to talking to a couple, and we were talking about life, and I started sharing with them about our podcast, and I was explaining to the husband how it is very therapeutic for us, and it is, because inevitably every week we get to the last minute, and then we do this, and we have a little tete-a-tete and back and forth, and then we get back on there, we're all smiles, and let's go for it, and so it's cool. It's a fun experience. But so we want to talk about some of our favorite traditions, some of the things that we grew up with, some of the things that we've added on, some of the things maybe that we've lost a little bit that we want to bring back, and then maybe a little fun memory about something that happened when we were kids or anything like that. So how do you want to lead it off?
Yeah, so again, going back to traditions, right? We talked about that, and we really feel it's really important to preserve them, right? And they could be things that have become a tradition from your own immediate family. Traditions can start from people that are sharing what they do in their own homes or within their own families that can then be incorporated into ours. It could be new traditions that you incorporate. It's however, you want to really capture moments, and just honestly, it's just creating memories, right? It's creating memories. I love when you're, you like just the other day, I got a, what is that, on Facebook, one of those memories, and it was from 13 years ago where the girls were ice skating, and they were probably 9 years old. Yeah. So it's just creating the, those times in your life where you could potentially forget about it because time moves so fast. So for me, I think of those things as just like to be able to create a canvas of your life and have some of those things. So you asked the one thing too. We want you guys in the comments to share as we go through this. Share your comments. We'd love to hear. Maybe it's some ideas that we'll take and bring upon our own, or maybe there's some ideas that you will hear from others that have shared, because I think that's important too for us to be able to think of things together. So childhood memory, you go first. I've been talking.
No, you can go first. I like it when you go first.
Okay, let's see. I have always been the shopper, and I think that's why by trade I became a buyer many years ago. But I was always tasked to do the shopping with, for my dad, and wrapping gifts for my dad, for my mom. But my mom is a natural born shopper herself. But I would get the list of whether they were cousins or friends, and then be tasked and to go and do all the errands, whether it's Black Friday shoppings. I love doing that with all my cousins. We would sleep at someone's house and then get up the next morning at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then start our mad rush when shopping in stores was extremely, extremely the thing to do back then. So many memories from there. But I love going out and doing that for my parents, my dad, and then coming back and wrap it. I love wrapping gifts for whatever reason. And I would just lay all the presents out in the family room and then just go at it for hours. I love that while drinking my hot cocoa, as you can see here, and then eating snacks and croissants. That was one memory that I love. And then I also loved when my dad used to stick See's Candy gift cards and things like that in my stocking, or those little chocolate almond royales. Those were my favorite. But really, it's the shopping and the wrapping and then feeling in the moment. That's my best childhood memory, along with the Black Friday shopping with all my crazy cousins. And there's a lot of stories that we've had. Not crazy, so good ones.
Those
but
crazy kids.
No, staying in line pregnant, 5 months pregnant, in front of KB Toys to get the next Elmo or something crazy. That's how diehard crazy we were. But that's my favorite memory. When
you want to really emphasize the differences in a marriage that's been going for years, it's something like that. Something... Her fondest, loving childhood memory of Christmas is going shopping on Black Friday, which was the absolute epitome of horror for me. I mean, just the thought of it makes my skin crawl. So it's always a funny, and then I laugh when she tells stories because my imagination runs with things. So excuse me, at some point, if they're shareable, I will, but I amuse myself often when when Anne's talking because I have weird visions of mental pictures
But
of
you're
what
missing
she's,
the point from it. It's like
of what
having
she's
your
describing. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, but it's like the point of like having your parents task you to do something and feel 100% confident that you're gonna like deliver. That's one thing.
Wow.
And then bonding with all your cousins. I'm telling you, there was hundreds of stories from like waiting in Starbucks lines when there was nobody at the Starbucks,
Wow.
counter. Just it's creating those memories, and so
Here's mine.
Okay.
Here's
Go
my
for it. Go
one
for
of the
it.
memories that I love the most. So every year at Christmas, we would beg my mom and dad to allow us to open one gift Christmas Eve, and then
this
we'd
is
have
childhood, right?
Yes, I wasn't an adult doing this. I mean, come on. I'm 35 years old, and I'd go and beg my mother to let me open. No, when we were kids, we would do this. So one year, we were living with my grandmother and grandfather in New Jersey, and it was a 2-story house, and the stairs went up, and then there was a where the roof came in, and there was a little gap where you could see in. So we were what you would define as wild kids. We were mischievous. We had a lot of mischief in the things that we did. So one year, my older brother decided he wanted to see what we were going to get for Christmas. So he got my little brother. I was mad. I didn't want to know what I was getting for Christmas. I was a very refined young man, and I wanted to be surprised. But they forced me to go out there. And my older brother hung my younger brother from his feet down over the banister to look out to see what they were happening. And then he'd pull them back up, and he would tell everybody what they got. So it's one of those memories that sticks with me many, many years later. And it's just one of those things that is hysterical. So,
Another one I was going to say is watching The Christmas Story. I'm sure everyone's watched The Christmas Story.
You'll shoot your eye out.
So a lot of times you'll keep it in the background. I love doing that. I remember putting that on as I'm like wrapping.
I always used to try to get Anne to lick the pole. See if her hand, I'm slapping my legs again. To see if her tongue would stick, but that never caught.
That's like one of the favorite months.
So those are some of our childhood ones.
Yep.
And then moving in, some of the shared traditions that maybe Anne's family or my family did that we've kind of brought into each other.
Yep.
So I'm going to go through, we'll go back and forth. That's the way it looks like here. Maybe I'll do mine, you do yours. So the first one, my father over the years built a Christmas village. Anybody who's come to my parents' house on Christmas Eve, and for years, it was a wide open thing. This village grew and grew and grew until there was little pieces of it that were mementos of us growing up. You know, my Uncle Vito had a hot dog truck in Newark, and my dad got a little hot dog truck to put in there. So it was a tradition every year at my dad's house. And then when we got our own place and had kids, and they'd see Nana and Papa's village, and then we adopted it and had our own little village. Used to be right here. It's over the TV now. And now Mom and Dad are to the point where they're kind of probably a little bit tired of building the village. So we're going to divide that up. We're actually going to go take a lot of it and try to duplicate a lot of it here.
There's some beautiful pieces like little carousels, Ferris wheels. I love it. And the kids love setting it up.
It's a lot of work, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
But then that's another thing to bring that up. Nana and Papa would have all the grandkids come over, 2 weeks before and decorate the tree together. I thought that was like a really cool tradition. Mm-hmm. And now that everyone's sort of like everywhere, it's been a little bit harder.
Everyone's grown.
Yes, exactly. So my friend and I, Michelle, started, and our friend Shelly started this tradition.
Remember, we're doing full names this episode.
Yes.
No more abbreviations.
And we're kind of jumping all overboard as they come pops in our head. But we were doing a annual girls get together because time gets busy. We all have families. We're raising the kids. Work upon us, traveling, all those things, right? Life pressures, blah, blah, blah. But we felt how important it is just to get together annually. So we were doing it for the past, I think we've done like about eight of them, where we get together during the Christmas season and somebody hosts it. And it's usually like a potluck. But it's so awesome because we've brought friends in from, friends of friends, basically. But it's so cool because everyone brings their favorite dish. We all sign up for something. And then we play, like, the most insane games. Like, I think there was one year where you weren't here because we kick all the men out of the house, so it's totally all girls.
They kick us out.
And it's a theme. So like this past year, we did a pajama theme. Everybody wore black and red pajama pants, and then we all had matching shirts. We do a picture, blah blah blah. And then Lisa was actually Lisa and Annette hosted it, and we were in charge of.
You're crazy with
like
the names.
Crazy games, like insane, like things that I like was even like not even my IQ to do. Very difficult, very strategic, but it was so awesome. But there was one year, the year before, where I think you guys came home and half of us were like naked out the door. Do you remember that? We basically had to remove clothing. Shelly came up with this. We had to remove our clothing and then build a rope type thing. And whoever, I don't know, but all I remember is we were not all dressed. And then my son and my husband had come home.
No, it's just me.
Oh, just you. So they can get as, as wild and crazy. But again, love it because we have a gift exchange, a white elephant. We all get together and we just catch up, talk, chat, reminisce. But we've done it for the last 8 years, which I don't ever want to.
As you can tell, she doesn't really like it.
No, I love it. It's like my favorite time that I look forward to the end of the year. So Debbie and Pauline are hosting next year. So no pressure based on what Lisa came up with and that hosted. So exciting. Wow,
the challenge.
So stupid.
So one of ours, and do this one and then do yours right after this the cool part about the holiday season is you have Christmas Eve and you have Christmas Day, depending on what your belief is. But our belief is Christmas, and we celebrate Christmas for the celebration of Jesus. But so a lot of families have controversy about who celebrates what when. We got really, really lucky because we know the reason for the season. That's why. But we got really lucky. My family celebrates Christmas Eve. Anne's family celebrates Christmas Day. So it's worked out really well. So it's like I said, we grew up with Christmas Eve almost became the entire event for us. And especially when we had kids. When we were younger, when we were first married, we would all go to my mom and dad's for Christmas Eve. Yeah. And we'd all sleep over, all of the kids and their spouses. And we'd sit up at night and do movie quotes and drive them absolute bananas. Yeah. Because it tended to be mostly Tombstone because we were all obsessed with that movie. And do Christmas Eve. And then as we had kids, we wanted to have them come home so they could open up gifts at their own home. So we would do Christmas Eve there and then go home afterward to do it. And it's remained the tradition we've been together, 30 years? And for at least 30 years, we've missed one time when COVID shut everything down. Right. So that was the only year that we didn't make it, and it wasn't even our fault. Yeah. Never our fault. We're better than that. We'll beat COVID next time. Anyway, so it's a huge tradition, which then leads into the second tradition of Christmas Day.
Yeah. So I typically host Christmas Day, and again, based on the pandemic, and kind of got rocky. But what's nice is we would host it at our home, and I love it because all the cousins are around, my dad and my mom, my stepmom, and brothers and sisters and cousins are all there. And it's just so nice to see everybody get along, eat, again, reminisce, talk, catch up on things. We typically will do a white elephant. We usually have games, but I love it. I as much as the craziness to coordinate it, because we do have a large family. We typically will have like 40 or 50 people at the house. We do love that moment when it's all said and done. But it's nice because we kind of it's an entire family affair, and the kids like get all the tree decorated and prepared. Again, my mom lives with us, so she got all the lights done outside and in the backyard. So, I love hosting it as much as like the craziness leading up to it. It really is a nice thing.
And it's become one of those things when we were younger and got first married, it was always at her aunt's house or her mom's house or one of the elders in the family's houses. And now that we are becoming the elders in the families, so we've kind of assumed that role of Christmas Day for Anne's family and having them all over. So it's a blessing to be able to celebrate with both families on those 2 days, and it's become a major tradition for us. Sometimes a little tiring, but it's worth it in the end.
It is.
Every once in a while, people don't take all the leftovers, so we have a little bit left. So that's always fun. Another one is my dad had a tradition. It's an Italian tradition. I won't go into what it means right now, but I'll put it in the notes after the episode, is the 7 fishes. It's an Italian tradition. And my dad every year for Christmas Eve would make 7 fishes. And it was the big thing. He did every year, and he would do it all by himself. And a lot of work goes into it, and it's really good. I mean, people would come over that we hadn't seen forever because they want to just eat my dad's cooking and the fish and 7 different kinds of fish.
Yeah.
So
awesome. I love it.
About 8, 9, 10 years ago, I said to my dad, hey, let me help you. And without really being interested in doing the whole thing, I just felt bad because he was doing it. So I started helping out, and then it kind of morphed into I was doing more and more to it kind of became something I took on. A lot, like I told my mom and dad the other day, my brothers are up there near them and are able to help a lot more. I'm unfortunately live further away, so don't have that opportunity. So it's a great opportunity for me to give back to them. And like we started with the episode, it's something my dad has done my entire life.
Yeah.
And now we get to do it. And I've taken on the entire thing. We go through the same menus he's used for my entire life.
It's really cool.
My daughter and I saved them all. And then a couple years ago, one of my daughters started coming with me, and then the second one came, and now they're both coming with me this year, and they're going to do the entire dinner with me. And so that as time goes on, they have started to adapt the tradition. So we know that if something happens, there's somebody there to carry it on. Because I think that's one of the things you worry about with tradition. I think everybody, you have something that's so passionate and you want it shared, but it so easily can be lost and forgotten.
Exactly.
And it's your identity. It's who you are.
Exactly. And again, you just want to pass it along. And that's why I'm saying, how do you preserve some of these traditions? And we'll go over some that we've maybe lost in the shuffle because, again, everyone's onto their new chapter. The kids grow up, but we still feel like they're very valuable in our lives, and we want to incorporate it. Speaking of that, I wanted to talk about a little bit of like the Christmas tree. So we got to kind of have a couple of elements. You talk about the one about the cutting, but I wanted to talk about when I was growing up too. We would have obviously 2 trees, one at my dad's and one at my mom's, and my mom's was always a fresh tree. Her and Papa would go and get one and then have it all decorated and loved it. On the other side, my dad, we always had an artificial tree growing up because of, whatever, allergies and things like that. So we had 2 different types of trees, which was really cool. I got to experience both growing up. But we, in both homes, we would decorate it. My dad had these cool little icicles that he would have. My mom's was like exorbitant and everything. So we made it a pact growing up that I wanted to have a fresh tree. And so...
Real tree.
A real tree, sorry.
Hopefully it's fresh.
Yeah, fresh. Real tree, whatever. And so for the, past 5 or 6 years?
Probably longer than that. We went out and got a real tree. And we made kind of a thing of it. We'd go and cut one down.
Tell the story, because it's actually a really funny story.
It's a lot of stories built into one. We always went.
I love this.
We tended to go with the really good friends, the Shelton family. They're our ride or die. We go on vacation with them. So we started doing tree cutting. And we go all over the place. We go to Half Moon Bay. We go to Apple Hill. We go all these different places to cut trees down.
Well, we actually invited them, right? We were doing it on our own, and then we said, "Hey, come join us."
Sure.
Right. Well, okay.
That's part.
This is sharing, sharing
Sharing is caring. Yes.
Sharing traditions is important.
Yes.
And doing it with more people.
Doing it with more people.
Like the Ramirez's.
Ramirez's, yes. Love it. So we go and cut trees down together. So. It's funny because what we define as a family tradition, one would assume that the family's going to do it together. What we learned early on was that's not really how it works. So we go up there, we pick out the tree, and everybody goes, oh, that's the tree we want. And then Dad gets the saw, and Dad gets under the tree, and Dad cuts it down. So as the kids got older, I would start forcing my son to help, which usually ended up being more of a hindrance than a help. So they would all sit and watch. So the last time we went, I think it was the last time, we go and they do videos of us cutting the tree down. And so
thank goodness for
there's
iPhones.
my wife and my children and our friends, and I'm under the tree cutting it down and getting it all done.
This is in Half Moon Bay, right?
Half Moon Bay, and I'm all sweaty and it's a mess. And then the next cut of the video is them cutting their tree down, and there's her kid, all of us, her kids, her husband, and she's under the tree, and she's just going at it on this tree. I mean, she
The
is
video is funny.
going after that tree like it stole her lunch after it.
He's cutting it when we all did it.
Okay, this is the Shelton cutting the tree.
We already been cutting it. I already did it.
Listen, what are you doing?
It's like doing the worm down there.
And just the irony of it. And it was just one of those stories that, gosh, as long as we can live, it's going to be one of our greatest memories.
But even with that, it was funny because the Ramirez family joined us also. And then you see Trixie dragging this tree.
That was two different places.
Oh, that's another piece? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Another story is we went to Apple Hill, and here's this poor girl. She's like the one dragging the tree all on her own. No, I think that was Half Moon Bay.
No, it was not.
Anyways, tree, definitely. Tree is sort of like, right, it's the anchor of, the holiday season. Our tree is up, and we kind of have a couple of traditions. I can't get rid of all the ornaments that our children
But case in
have
point,
made.
we switched to an artificial tree this year.
Yes.
But
There you go.
now the ornaments.
Yeah, so in decorating the tree, we have ornaments from when they were at Valley Christian, when they were, 3 years old. And so that's sort of like infused within the tree. But one of the big traditions is we have our son Dominic as the angel when I think he was, I'm looking at it right now. What was he, like 3-4 years old? So we don't have a traditional like star or an angel. We actually have him with a DIY crafted tree topper, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of the tradition that we keep. And then the girls have things that they've made when they were younger in preschool.
It's a mixture. It's traditional balls on the tree, and then a lot of things
very
that
eclectic.
Eclectic, yeah. There's things that we've collected over the years that were gifts, or things that we made. There's some up there that I made when I was a little kid that we actually saved. Yeah, so it's going along the tradition line. Everything on there has some meaning to us, except for the balls. I don't really understand. I mean, there's no.
No, but I have like memories of that. That's like Ramon coming and he would come and decorate trees. I feel like every ornament has a story, which is really cool, right? No, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you have, and I love that you have ones that we probably would share with others. We actually got a new ornament from, I'm going to say it again, the Shelton family, and it's the 5 of us, and it's pretty cool. I'll have to share it and show you guys, but it's things that your parents have provided, things that I've kept throughout the years. So you don't want to get rid of it. They're just so cool. But speaking of trees, I'm going to shift. If you could see behind us, this was a shared tradition from my friend Liz. I attended like another holiday party at her home, and she had what she calls the alcohol tree, and she would decorate it with these little, what do you call that? Like
Alcohol bottles?
I don't know, but whatever.
Airline bottles.
Yes, as you can see. Hopefully you can see it back here. If not, we'll post a picture. But she started that tradition, and she said that it was just a way for her to either people would add to or obviously take from, and
Hopefully
have a cheer as they were celebrating their day. So I thought that was pretty good. Again, another share that we've
share a Christmas drink at 9 a.m. That was the big deal. I'm just kidding. All right, we're gonna a couple more things to wrap it up. One of the ones that Ann added on here, I think is funny. When we were little, when they were younger, we would do our Christmas Eve. We'd come home and we'd all sleep downstairs around the tree. Now that tradition started a little bit later because when they were little, we'd have to put in bed and set up the
because of Santa
presents, and we had this big thing, and we'd do all their presents in different areas of the house, and we'd set up the action figures like they actually set themselves up. It was very elaborate. And then as they got older and they knew that it was us doing it, we'd pre-wrap it, set it all up, sleep together downstairs watching a movie, and then get up in the morning and open Christmas presents.
Yeah, we just put the air mattress out.
Now our kids are adults, and my lovely wife still tries to get them to sleep downstairs together. And I think Ann's the only one that really wants to do it.
And then we put like Hallmark shows or Home Alone or The Christmas Story. I love that one too.
So tell us about the new tradition.
Well, it's not really a new tradition. It's actually a tradition that we've done, but during a different time, which is during New Year's, right? So every year, what I like to do is I like to sit the family down together during dinner and reflect on all the amazing things that we've done, because life happens and you get caught up with things and you don't realize all the great things that we've accomplished, things that we learned, how we grew. So we'll sit down and reflect on this past year. And then what we end up doing is I want them to all come up with like, I think it's at one point I had like 10 things. We started like, let's do 5, like 5 things that you want to work towards, whether that's something educational or career.
The basis was we'd go to the end of the year and talk about what was great for the year, and then what are our aspirations or goals or things we want to achieve the next year. And then hopefully, and we've done it a few times, we go back to that notebook at the end of the year, and we review last year's aspirations, goals, and see what you did. How did you come close? Do we need to redo it? Can we help each other grow in that mission or help them achieve those things? And it's actually become really fun and really cool and a great way to reflect on what were some of the things that were important the prior year that maybe aren't, or we accomplished, and we get to celebrate those moments.
Yeah, it's not only that, like I said, is we want to help each other get to that point, and we look at it, we do a kind of like a check-in, a quarterly check-in, right? Every so often just to see where we're at, but then also how do we encourage others, members of your family, to like get there.
Encouragement.
It's really about reflection, and then getting yourself accountable for things, and then encouraging others throughout the year. So what I love is like we'll sit down, have dinner, and then we'll go, okay, which ones have you done? And then which ones you need to move into the following new year, because again, life happens. But for me, it's reflecting on the things that you've done, because life happens. So many obstacles, roadblocks, things happen during the year that you don't realize all the amazing things that you do. So it's a way to like pat yourself on the back, cheer each other on and stuff.
And creating some self-accountability.
Totally, 100%. Accountability is, I think, something we want to talk about in future episodes. So we were at church a couple weeks ago, and the pastor was talking about shared memories, and then putting things in journals on paper. And you know me, I love journals. Love writing things down.
You know her.
Because it's just for us, again, you tend to forget things, right? So I decided to come up with a new notebook, which is called The Notebook, and it's so pretty. And I thought that similar to when you go to a wedding, and it's your guest book, so it's a welcoming book when you come during the holidays, at any point during the holidays, and you want to do a shared memory. So I wrote a note on what I want this to become, and a tradition in our family. So, welcome to our holiday memory book. In the spirit of preserving traditions and creating lasting connections, may each page be a canvas of shared memories. As you contribute your own story to this collection, you're not just sharing a moment, but weaving the fabric of our shared history. May the laughter, joy, and love captured here inspire new traditions and add warmth to the holiday seasons to come. Cheers to preserving the old and creating the new in our home. So I love that we can start this for 2023 into 2024. And I brought it to our girlfriend's annual holiday party. And, I'm not going to share other stories, but all of them shared a favorite memory. I want to date it because I, again, go back to dates so you can reflect on it. And I'm going to have it right here. So when everyone enters a home, they're encouraged to write something.
Encouragement.
Encouraged to write something, and then, you can reflect back on it. So
awesome. So thank you for joining us this week. We really appreciate you coming out. If you like what we're doing, please like the episode. Please share the episode. Please subscribe to the episode. We're going to keep coming out with content that we think is pertinent. If you have a tradition, drop it in the comment. Please drop a comment. Tell us what your tradition is, what your favorite one is, what your childhood one was, an odd one, something that maybe people go, whoa, give us ideas about maybe it's something that we can add in. Yeah, something that's funny. As well as another thing that we want to get into doing now is after our 10th episode, which is 1 or 2 from now, is start inviting guests on. So if that would be something that might interest you, you want to be with us quirky, funny people, please drop a line in there and just say, hey, I'm interested, or give us a shout, give us a call. We'd love to have you. We want to change up the format. We're also, we talked a little bit about some of the other content that we've been listening to, and a couple places and people that we've listened to that had a lot of impact on us. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to shout them out. We're going to add them, just to give them credit for the impact that they're having on us as ideas for future episodes. So lot coming in the new year. Thanks for being here with us and celebrating our little goofy, weird holiday traditions and how much this holiday means to us.
Yes.
Peace out until next time.
Bye, everybody. Happy holidays.